In today's Pick a Card Tarot reading, we are going to be doing a Choose Your Own Adventure mystery message reading. The first part will be oracle messages. There will be 3 soul paths for those. And at the end of the oracle portion of this video, there will be another set of 3 soul paths for you to choose from, which will take you into a tarot portion of the reading. You can choose one part, both parts, multiple piles. It is completely up to you on how you would like to consume this reading and the messages that Spirit has for you today. So let's get started. Hello, my curious souls. My name is Amanda. Welcome. So happy to have you here. If you already know which soul path you'd like to choose, all of the timestamps are in the description box, along with anything you'd like to know about the decks I'm using today, and links to book a personal reading or other links that you may find interesting. If any of these readings resonate, I welcome your insights, as I love to see how these readings connect with you. Remember, though, that they are general and here to offer insight, not instruction, so take what resonates and lovingly leave the rest. For those who would like an official intro to the soul paths today, let me give you a quick intro right now. For soul path 1, we have the Caribbean calcite stone. For soul path 2, we have the red agate stone. And for soul path 3, we have the shungite stone. So whenever you feel called and ready, choose the pile or piles that you are most drawn to. Click the timestamp for your reading, which is down in that description box, and I'll meet you over there. Hello, Soul Path 1. Welcome into your reading. You chose the Caribbean calcite stone. Let's see what oracle messages Spirit has for you today. We're going to keep all of these relatively short because I have many piles to read for. So we have active. This is very divine masculine energy. This is also very Aries energy, and we are in Aries season. Well, at least at the time of this recording we are. So it is a very active energy, very driven and ambitious. It's all about taking action towards something and using your will and your divine power, that energy, that manifestation energy, to move yourself forward in some regard. So I feel like there's something that you might need to take action on, or maybe you are currently taking action on something. So let's take a look at some more oracle cards and see what you're being active with. For Soul Path 1, what are their mystery messages today? What would you like them to know? Possibly about this active energy. Do one more. Okay. Ooh, really fun energy. We have Between Worlds, and we have Imagine. Okay. So I think there's something about dreams, moving towards your dreams. And I love that this Between Worlds card feels like a very active energy. This feels like a very passive energy, but it's like you're shifting gears from passive to active, or receptive to active. And because of that shift, you are moving from possibly a dream state, or imagining something, or thinking about something, or idealizing something, or fantasizing about something. You're actually taking action and moving towards that thing that you have dreamed of for so long. Maybe it's something of your imagination, something you've always dreamed of doing. So this could be a career path. This could be a hobby that you want to turn into a business. This could be, anything that you are pursuing or in pursuit of. But I feel it's no longer out of reach. It's like, because of this active energy, because of you moving towards this and taking action, now your dreams are within reach. You're no longer reaching for the moon, or, this doesn't feel out of touch any longer. This is like you're moving towards it, and you're feeling it as well, within your soul, within your body, within maybe your sacral chakra. This feels very igniting for you. It's inspiring, maybe even inspiring others around you. So let's get some more information for ya. What are you dreaming about? What are you imagining? Yeah, it's like you're stepping into a new world, but it's all you. It's all because you've made some decisions here. You no longer want to stay where you are because it is uninspiring, it's stagnant, it's gray, it's cold. And you no longer want to keep it, this dream that you have or this aspiration, in the dark. You want to bring it to life. So let's see, we'll get 2 more cards for Soul Path 1. We have Forgive. Okay, look at that. I love how Forgive kind of flipped in the reverse. It's like either you've decided not to forgive something and just move on from it, or you've forgiven self in some way. And that has allowed you to move, to take action, because you're no longer hanging on to this. So whatever you've forgiven within yourself, or maybe there's an acceptance that has happened, it has untied you from something. And then we have Adventure. Interesting that you are in a choose your own adventure pick a card today, and Create. So you're definitely creating something, and you're moving into some kind of adventure here. Illumination. So I feel like you really are very clear about where it is that you want to go. Again, it's not stuff of dreams anymore. It is something you're creating. You're very intentional about creating, and therefore you are manifesting. And these 2 cards came out. So I think that this is the old energy, the past energy, something that you're moving on from, that you have grieved, that you have maybe understood, or have just released in some way. And you're stepping into this creation energy, this adventure. And so, again, there's this in-between worlds where you don't really know, maybe you don't know what this new world is going to look like, but it feels very expansive. It feels like you can create anything from this space, and you can. There's a lot of divine flow that is in this space. Even though there's this active energy, I think this active energy is creating some kind of flow in your life, or at least movement forward. This feels very kind of storm-like energy. Things are very damp and tampered down, whereas in these, it's just flowing, it's moving, it's fresh. So you're moving out of stagnancy is the overall message that I'm feeling here. Let's get a couple more cards to end your reading, and then you can hop into the tarot portion for Soul Path 1. What else do they need to know? Oh, look at that. And the color of the penguin and this guy in the mud is very similar. So you got 3 cards here as well. Okay, so we have Happiness, which is a fun card. There's a lot of good things here. There's a lot of, a lot of friendships, relaxation. Again, I'm just getting flow. I'm getting a letting go as well, of accepting where you are and being happy there. Look at this. Magic and Helping Hand came out together. So maybe you're getting a helping hand to move through this energy. So definitely watch for people in your life that you can receive assistance from, that you can be inspired by, and don't be afraid to receive help from people who are willing to offer it. And then we have Magic. So it's just lovely energy. Again, we have more communal energy here with these little guys around this rabbit, and just a real coming together to create something. Again, we have that creation energy. We have the Magician coming through. Creation of magic. And I don't think you're going to do this alone. You're not going to experience this happiness alone either. So again, it could be community, it could be business partnerships, relationships of any kind that are going to assist you along this journey. I almost wonder, this feels very hermit energy over here, where you did something on your own, whether that is introspection, whether that is really trying to understand your emotions or your dreams. But now you're moving into an energy where you're not only moving into a new chapter, But now I feel like you're moving into a new chapter where life is so much more vibrant and there's no more isolation. There's no more doing things on your own. You're going to have assistance. You're going to have support. And that is going to help you move forward into possibly a new world here, new creations, new adventures. So this is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 1. If you'd like to hop into the tarot portion of the reading at all, you can find the timestamp to look at the pile selection in the description box. Until we meet again, my friends, stay curious, and I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 2. Welcome into your reading. You chose the red agate stone. Let's get into your starting message here. Does Soul Path 2 need to know? What is their mystery message today for Soul Path 2? Intracellular. Okay. So intracellular is about the internal. It's about the self. It is about looking within and discovering all of the organisms and how things work. It feels very detailed. So I almost wonder, it also feels very hermit energy. So I almost wonder if you've been doing a little bit of introspection and looking at how things work. You're looking at the self. You're trying to understand how something works here. And we do have the number 6, which is the Lover's card in the tarot. So again, it's like you're trying to find some kind of balance. You're trying to understand something to create more harmony, possibly within the body, maybe within the mind or the soul. So let's hop into your oracle messages. Let's see what's going on for Soul Path 2. What do they need to know? Now, this hermit energy, looking at the details or looking within, could be something that you're currently doing or have done up until this point, or it's a suggestion from Spirit to start looking at that. The answers are within, not in the external. So what does Soul Path 2 need to know at this time? 2 cards. 2 cards for. Take that one. Community. That's interesting because it's an external energy. Community is an external energy. And co-create. I have my deck upside down here. Okay. Okay. Yeah. You know what I'm feeling for this? I'm feeling like the introspection could be very well a past energy, and you're now stepping into co-creation with some kind of community here, whether that is with a singular person or whether that is within a team or a group of people. But I'm getting a lot of support, and I feel like you are coming together with people that have like mind or are like-minded and are going to be creating something for the whole. There's also something about sticking your neck out. So maybe you're really used to this intracellular energy where you look within a lot of the time. You do a lot of introspection. You like to be on your own. But I think Spirit is coming through to say that this is a time to really get a little vulnerable here so that you can connect with community and find some kind of possible expansion or new foundation. Because maybe the next portion of your story requires you to collaborate. So it's not just about being intracellular all the time. It's not just about being on your own and doing things on your own. That might be your comfort zone, so it might be a time to step out. Let's get 2 more cards. And what are those communities? Have a thought about what those communities might be. It might take some time to research. But think about, too, all the things you want to create that you could possibly do with assistance from others, which could help you be guided to a community as well. Observe, yeah. This is about observing. Observing what you need, observing what you desire. and observing kind of the communities that are out there, and trust. Yeah, so trust is going to be a big portion of this, I think. It's not just about an illuminate. This came out in Soul Path 1 at the bottom of the deck as well. So I think something overall in the collective, something's being illuminated here. And for Soul Path 1, they were taking action on something. And I think you're taking action, but in a very different way. You're no longer doing something on your own. Actually, that came through a little bit in Soul Path 1, where you're no longer doing something on your own. You're actually getting more into community for support to do something, to create something that is truly feeling aligned for you. But it's going to require you to observe, whether that is self or whether it is finding the right community. There might be a time period where you have to just observe before you can step in and stick your neck out. You want to make sure you're with the right people. So there's a timing aspect to that, but also trusting yourself, trusting you doing something a little bit differently, trusting the community that you connect with and that you feel good about, trusting the creations and the co-creations that are coming out of that, whether it is just a friendship or a new connection, whether it's business or work related, or whether it is some kind of personal or spiritual development that you are wanting to move through. I think trust is going to be part of that. Trusting yourself more than anything. Trusting that no matter what happens in community, that you always have a choice to participate or not. You always have a choice on who you can connect with on a deeper level or not. So that might take a little bit of time. I feel like your trust has maybe been taken advantage of in the past, so this might be a little bit vulnerable for you. But trust your wisdom, trust your inner wisdom. And that's the importance of all of that inner work that you have done and maybe continue to do during this, where you kind of dip your toe and then you come back within self, figure out, okay, what am I observing about what's happening? Oh my goodness, Soul Path 1 got the happiness card too. Yeah, okay, so happy, give your shine, okay. We got some good stuff here. So we have happiness and permission. I think you need to give yourself permission to have a different experience, to step out of your comfort zone, to experience new things, and maybe to experience happiness within community or experience some kind of project coming to life. And experience yourself in divine trust of yourself and trusting the knowledge and the wisdom that you have gained, possibly in introspection, and shine even in the darkness. This is very trust energy here, just because you are following your inner light, just like the hermit. I'm getting a lot of hermit energy with this one, a little bit of this one, and definitely with this one, this courage card. Yeah, so it's going to take courage and trust and doing things. You don't have to do things fast. I think you can do things a little bit at a time. But again, I feel like it's going to be 2 steps forward and 1 step back until you get comfortable in being out, being seen, being a little bit vulnerable, making those new connections. And I feel they're going to be very heartfelt connections that are going to bring a lot of happiness, a lot of creation, quite possibly, and overall a lot of mutual trust. So definitely continue to do the introspection work that you've been doing. Now it's time to actually put that into action and seeing where it takes you. So these are the messages I have for you today. If you'd like to hop into the tarot portion of the reading, you can find the timestamp to look at the pile selection in the description box. Until we meet again, my friends, stay curious, and I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 3. Welcome into your reading. You chose the Shungite stone. Let's get an oracle message to start your reading today. What does Soul Path 3, singular? So there's something here about individuality, about self-sufficiency, about autonomy. And again, a part of, what am I trying to say? you being a part of a collective and how you fit into that collective. It's really interesting. All of the messages that came out and all of the oracle messages, they're all have been a little bit different, but they're all the same as well. So there's this unity happening. Even though the messages are different and the guidance is slightly different, it's almost like the collective is going through or has gone through this period of introspection, and now it's time to take action and applying what you've learned, applying what you understood about self, and applying that to possibly the service of the community, service of the collective. And that could be through expression, that could just be through assistance in some regard. But I really get that you have gone through a period of, I don't want to say isolation, but there's this period of really understanding self, understanding you as the individual and how you fit into the collective or the community, or fit into where you find yourself, wherever you find yourself. And again, 7 is the Chariot card in the tarot. So it's like there's this movement forward again. It must be the season of Aries. Season of Aries and the solar eclipse, where there's just this huge push and also a focus on self as well. The things you want to accomplish, how that fits into the grander purpose of the world, maybe your family or community, your customers, your clients. Thinker, yes. Okay. So we have thinker, we have flexible, and we have exchanging gifts. So we talked about service to others. I feel like that exchanging gifts came through there. This is also about being flexible in your perceptions as well. Perceptions about self, perceptions about your achievements, future achievements that have not yet occurred. And there has been possibly a very deep introspection period, which again, I think a lot of the collective has done as they're trying to integrate something and apply that, figure out how that applies to their life. So there has been this thought about, what do I do next? Where do I go next? How do I apply myself? How do I make an impact? And with that, you're going to have to turn things upside down a little. This is very Hanged Man energy, where you have to see things from a new perspective, because the way that you've thought about something in the past, your perception of something, of yourself even from the past, no longer applies. This is something new. So you have to remain flexible with outcomes, results, how you approach something, or how you show up for something, how you apply yourself. Allow that to change. Allow that to bend a little. And we have empathy. I had the deck upside down. Yeah, giving yourself a little empathy here. Maybe applying your empathy to something in your line of work. So empathy. Yeah, tapping into more of an emotional point of view rather than a thinking, logical, intellect point of view, and calm. I'm going to say that I really feel like you're the type of person that really provides a sense of calmness to others, that really has a deep sense of empathy. And maybe you have had a difficult time holding space for people because you pick up on other people's energies. And you've tried to think about how you can resolve this, how you can maybe change yourself to not be that way. But I think there comes this acceptance along this path for you, where you have understood something about yourself that is inherently unchangeable and beautiful. It does not need fixing. It does not need changing. It's just about you being flexible and adaptable, but also not forgetting about the things that you need just as much as what other people need as well. So again, exchanging that gifts, it's about give and take, giving to others, but also giving to yourself as well. And what is it that you need to balance your own emotional energy? Also, you may have been too flexible in the past where it put you in a space of losing your stability. So now it's finding a way to balance that and move with the rhythm of those energies a little more efficiently. So I think you are now tapping into this and tapping into it as a superpower. So again, it's that singular self that you have really maybe even put under a microscope to figure out, how do I work? How do I function? What's changeable? What's not? What is it that I need? And almost doing a little bit of shadow work. That could be what this thinker card is as well, where you're looking at the root causes of things so that you can understand it better and give yourself the empathy to provide a sense of calm, maybe even a practice that provides you a sense of calm, especially when you are out in the world and you are maybe applying your gifts or you are interacting with people. So it's about this push and pull between being self and respecting what it is that you need and desire, but also being a part of this collective and flowing with those energies back and forth, being flexible with that movement. And not thinking that just because I can't do it like somebody else means that I need to change something about who I am. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so we have frolic and ask with share underneath. So frolic and ask. I think you have been asking some questions here just based on the thinker card, but I think you've been asking yourself a lot of hard questions, maybe about yourself, and asking some questions about where you'd like to go, maybe how to have more reciprocity in your relationships, in your exchanges, whatever those exchanges might be. And to learn how to dance with life a little. There's two dancer cards here. We have the exchanging gift, we have the circus card, and then we have this word frolic here. So first of all, I think it's time for you to start to play a little bit, to start to shine and dance a little with the energies of life, with the situations in life, and not try to overthink things. Take that time for yourself to ponder and to question and to do that introspection. But don't forget to express yourself in some way and put yourself out there a little bit into the collective, into the community. Connect with people, network with people, because I think you have a gift that people can really utilize and that people will find really valuable. I don't know what that is, but you do have this wisdom that you can share with others, or this skill that you can share with others. So it's time to shine and put yourself in the spotlight a little. And again, that might require a little bit of practice. It might require a shift in perception, but I think this is a time to shine and to have a little fun and to be a little playful. So these are the messages I have for you today, my dear Soul Path 3. If you're ready to hop into the tarot portion of your reading, all of the timestamps for the part 2 is in the description box. But if not, I do hope these insights resonated and offered the clarity you needed today. And until next time, stay curious, and I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, welcome to part 2, which is the tarot portion of this pick a card reading. There could be overlaps, there could be ones that weave into each other. I have no idea how this is going to play out, but when you are ready, you can choose the soul path that is calling to you the most and head into the description box to find the timestamp for this next part of the reading, and I will meet you over there. However, if you would like an official intro to the soul paths for this portion of the reading, let me do that. For part 2, soul path 1, you have the evil eye protection stone. For soul path 2 of part 2, we have the 0 die. And for Soul Path 3, for the part 2 of the reading, we have the Amethyst Pendulum. So when you feel called and ready, head into the description box to find the timestamp for your reading, and I'll meet you over there. Hello, Soul Path 1, and to those who chose the Evil Eye Protection Stone, welcome into the tarot portion of your reading. So, I was going to call this the Third Eye Protection. I almost wonder if you have to somehow protect your intuitive guidance, your psychic vision, maybe work to clear the third eye. I'm not too sure. But let's get into your mystery message today. For the Evil Eye Protection Stone, what is it they need to know? Strongest energy, please. King of Wands in the upright and the Magician in reverse. Okay, so there's a vision that you are moving towards, but I feel like you also have a lot of creativity and a lot of ambition. I feel like you take an idea and you are able to complete it. However, I feel like there's a creative block at the moment. You're unable to maybe execute on something or see the results that you're looking for. And there could be this creative block of some kind, or a block to really seeing the vision that you want come to life. So even though you might have experience in this and have in the past, it's like, why can't I do this like I've done in the past? Why am I blocked? Why are the results not happening? Why can't I create? Or maybe not having an idea for the next thing. Okay, let's get a little more information. What is this King of Wands? So yeah, it's almost like that third eye is blocked. That creative kind of intuitive connection is blocked. What is this? Why is this Magician in reverse? Okay. And then bottom of the deck, we have the Moon in reverse. Okay, so the clarifiers, 10 of Cups in reverse, and the 7 of Pentacles in the upright here. It's like you've got the fire, but something is feeling unfulfilling here. I don't know if you're finding yourself in communities that no longer align. Maybe you're having trouble in your home life or with your relationships in general. There seems to be a little bit of disharmony as it pertains to your personal life, which could be affecting your creativity or your work life. So it's really hard to maybe see results or see outcomes or find that focus or have that focus to do that thing that you've always done and you enjoy doing. It's because there's something going on within the emotions that are a little imbalanced or upturned. And this Magician in reverse, I think this is a bit of a stepping back period where you need to stop and assess something. There's some things here that work, and there's some things here that don't. There's some things that offer and have offered harvest for you, and there's other things that you might still be investing in, maybe because you've done it in the past, maybe as it pertains to relationships, but it's no longer working as it did. So this 7 of Pentacles is a bit of a test of patience, a test of your values as well, and really encouraging you to step back to remove something here or to double down on something. There's this sense that something is unsustainable here, or that it can't go on the way it has. It has reached some kind of peak or end point. So it's time to step back to figure out what needs to change, what needs to be adjusted, so that you can unblock yourself and move forward, or maybe even be inspired by new ideas. So with this Moon in reverse, this is about your deep emotional self. Both of these are Piscean energy. And Pisces, their power is to believe in something. They are also very intuitive. They're dreamers. They're compassionate and sacrificing. There's also some secrets here as well. Now, that could have some connection to this 10 of Cups in reverse, just based on the fact that these are both Piscean energies. They are speaking to deep emotions, even the secretive emotions, or the emotions we keep to ourselves, and also underlying emotions as well. I feel like you are being called to maybe assess something within the emotional body, within your relationships, and apply that ambition and that creativity and that inspiration to those relationships, because I feel you are being called to look at something on a deeper level, to transmute something and transform something. The moon in reverse can speak to an avoidance of that work because there are so many unknowns. There are so many mysteries and questions, more questions than answers. This is a bit of a discomfort zone when you decide to move into it, because you don't know where you're going to end up. You don't even know where you're going, how you're going to get through this. It is just one step in front of the other, which is maybe why this pentacle energy showed up, because it's not about driving forward and following your inspiration or following a specific path with great ambition and maybe even sometimes force and having that plan in place. This is about getting into the unknown a little, getting into that emotional discomfort zone so that you can uncover something here. Communication could also be a big aspect of this as well, because the Magician is tied to Mercury energy, and Mercury is all about communication. Can also be about our thoughts and our learned patterns. So there could be something here in regards to that, as it's connected to your relationships, that you have to assess and possibly reconnect with or communicate. So it does definitely feel like you need to utilize some other skill here, and you need to create the space and the time to be able to do that. Additionally, with the moon, when we end up moving through that, we are faced with our conditioned beliefs and how that does or does not align with our current beliefs and value system. So that could be kind of an underlying energy where you're sensing that, but you're not really sure how to move towards that. But I think all the more reason to kind of stop and assess things and take a step back, which might throw you into this moon energy, because the King of Wands, he's a very fiery, forward-moving, passionate player. And when he can't execute on his vision or move towards an aspirational goal, there can be a little discomfort there. So this energy here of the Seven of Pentacles might throw you into a bit of discomfort. So I feel like there's a lot of encouragement here to step into that discomfort zone, because I think there are answers there. There is possibly even inspiration there. And the Nine of Wands in reverse, just curious, bottom of the deck, underneath the moon there. So yeah, there's some kind of relief that you might get from moving through the unknown, moving towards something that you've never done before, uncovering some emotions or sharing some emotions that you've kept to yourself. There's some kind of interesting authenticity coming through, even though the King of Wands expresses himself in his true authentic form and mastery. There's something vulnerable with all of this water energy that's coming through. It's almost like this water energy is going to really complement this fire energy quite well. And you may be worried that it will completely extinguish it, but I feel it's going to open the gate for new opportunities to create. It is maybe what is needed to block yourself and start moving again, to maybe even move towards something that is more creative or fulfilling. So this is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 1, the Evil Eye Protection people. I hope you enjoyed this portion of the reading, and these are the messages I have for you. I do hope they resonated and offered the clarity that you needed. Until next time, stay curious, and I'll see you soon. Hello, Soul Path 2, and those who chose the 0 on the die. This is Fool energy. This is possibilities and a fresh new beginning. Potential for anything. That's really quite lovely. This is even before the starting point. This is, I don't know what this is. This is where nothing exists yet. So that's kind of a scary, but also a really exciting place to be. I'm not sure if that's where you are, but let's take a peek at what you need to know. Judgment. With the Queen of Pentacles. Both in the upright. Okay. So I feel there's something that you're feeling called to do. Maybe you are trying to find a larger purpose in life, maybe to express yourself in a more meaningful way as it pertains to the things you participate in life, maybe the people you hang out with, your career path, or general experiences. But you could also have gone through a lot of stuff over the last little while, emotionally, spiritually, maybe even physically. And I think that you're being moved into some kind of awakening, a moment of awakening. Maybe you're already moving through this. This is you rising above. This is Phoenix rising energy. This is you hearing the call and taking steps towards that call little by little, even though you don't really know what it means or where it takes you. It just feels good. You know that it just feels correct. It might not feel good necessarily, because growth doesn't necessarily feel good. But it definitely feels profound wherever you are headed or whatever you are experiencing. And I feel that through some kind of adversity or challenge that I feel is quite significant, you will rise above and you will conquer. You will come out of this with a lot more knowledge, with a lot more security and self-assurance. I also feel like you're going to be a little more focused and refined in what you do value, what your goals are. And I think you're also going to feel more comfortable with yourself, maybe in your environment and the people that you find yourself among or the people that you support. It's very grounded energy, and I feel like it might have been a little chaotic before this. But you have gone through or are going through a renewal at this time, an awakening. So if you're going through it right now, if you are experiencing challenge after challenge after challenge, I feel like you're close to the end here. So to move through this, to find a grounding center, and that could be a practice, that could be finding yourself in an environment that feels calming and rooted in stability. What is this judgment? What is this judgment? And Pluto's not necessarily a fun energy. It is essentially the underworld. It is bringing things up from the depths to be healed and released. It is transformation. 8 of Cups in reverse here. And we have the 5 of Swords in reverse for the Queen. With the Justice, yes! At the underside of the deck here, at the bottom of the deck. With the 6 of Cups. So this could have a lot to do with your past emotions, past emotional connections. that you have with other people. And I feel you have been stagnated in that area. You have felt like you haven't been able to see growth or move on from something, disconnect. And you have just kind of gone in circles over the last, 8 years, 8 months. And so I think this is the universe's way of pushing you forward, of kind of giving you some difficulty to help you move on from this, to help you detach from this, to help you find balance and more stability in something. Because with the Queen of Pentacles and the 5 in reverse here, the 5 of Swords, this is you kind of getting away from the chaos, getting away from people and situations where there's tension and stress, and it's futile. Whatever arguments you're having, whatever tension that is coming through or stress is coming up, it is not serving the highest good of anyone. It could even be mean-spirited as well. So I think there's some universal energies going on, but it's also you really coming to meet the universe halfway to say, okay, let's do this. I'm ready. And you kind of trusting in your own abilities, trusting in your own resilience to be able to move through this energy and navigate this energy, knowing what's good for you and what's not, and finally focusing on that and eliminating the clutter. I feel like there's a lot of clutter and a lot of stagnancy from an energetic standpoint. So you're just finally ready to release that. And the guidance or advice is to be really neutral in this process. I know that might sound a little strange, and I can't really speak to any specific situation, but the justice isn't one-sided. It isn't biased. It is very neutral in receiving information, facts, figures, and all the information that this justice can receive to make a balanced decision on something, to find peace or justice in a situation in the most fair way. And so I don't know if this has to do with a karmic relationship that you've had a hard time moving out of, or just a situation that you've learned some kind of major lesson, and now it's time to integrate that and understand that on a deeper level and how it is supporting you, how it is supporting your growth, supporting you supporting yourself even. So there's a level of balance that's coming through, but also that is part of your guidance and advice is to find balance, find stability, find that neutral ground outside of the chaos, outside of the emotional turmoil that might be happening at this time. And that might not be possible 100% of the time, but I think there's guidance to not getting swept away in whatever is going on, because I think there is something, I don't want to say better, because that's going to be based on your perception and your situation and circumstance, but I do feel that there's something more grounded and something more supportive for you on the other side of this. But it might be challenging before you get there. What did I say was under the... Okay, so 6 of Cups in the upright. This could also be to dive into some pleasures at this time as well. Do some things that make you feel good, that take your mind off of whatever challenges or adversity you might be facing right now. And that might feel counterintuitive, but I think it's going to be really important, because by being in a chaotic energy or being in our emotions at all times, it can really get us wound up and stressed out and anxious. So getting into our bodies, feeding our bodies well, getting into some physical activity as well might be really helpful. And again, finding that neutral ground, the middle of that polarity of the chaos and the organization or the pleasure of life, the joys of life. So this is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 2 and those who chose the 0 die. I do hope this message resonated for you and was helpful. Until next time, stay curious, and I'll see you soon. Hello, Soul Path 3 and those who chose the pendulum. Let's get straight into your tarot on what you need to know. What does Soul Path 3, the pendulum, need to know at this time? Okay, we've got the Ace of Wands in a sideways position and the Queen of Cups in reverse. Okay. So there's something, some kind of fresh energy coming in, dynamic energy, inspirational energy. It's interesting that a lot of the oracle readings talked about movement and inspiration and taking action, and that's what the Ace of Wands is. It is kind of the spark of something new, the spark of getting inspired and taking action towards that inspiration. And it's also creating something that is dynamic. This isn't something static that you can write down and get to later. This is something that you continually have to feed and stoke like a fire in order to bring it to life and to bring your vision to life. So there's something new that you would like to begin. Could be a new relationship. It could be a new project or a new career path, but just something that you're desiring to do. Maybe you have an idea or this pull like, ooh, I really want to try that, or I really want to do that, or I'm ready for this. This is you being ready for it. This is the seed of possibility here. And I think the opportunity, it is available to you. But what I don't think you see is that there's an emotional aspect to this that is required. I think you have the drive. I think you have the passion for whatever it is, but there's an aspect of receiving that I think needs to be put in place in order for this to be fully well-rounded. And I don't really know what that means. That just came through. But I think it's going to make sense for the people who this is meant for. Because I feel there's some aspect of emotion or imagination or psychic intuitive abilities that have not been either addressed or have been suppressed in some way. Maybe you are feeling a little bit emotionally ungrounded at this time. So maybe this Ace of Wands is looking pretty good because maybe it's a distraction from some emotional stuff that's happening. No judgment here. It is not for me to do that. This could also be emotional overwhelm in a good sense, where this opportunity is so exciting that you aren't really sure what to feel about it. Or you could just feel emotionally drained right now for one reason or another, and you can't quite nurture, you don't have the emotional energy for this opportunity fully. So this could be a time to give yourself the space to process some emotions first, to tap into that. Are you okay to receive? Whether that's success, whether that's money, whether that's eyeballs, being seen. Is there a fear there? Is there a resistance to being vulnerable in this process? So as it pertains to a relationship, for example, and you want to start a new relationship, are you emotionally prepared for that? So is there something that needs to be healed? Or is there something that needs to be addressed within your emotional self before stepping into a relationship? I don't know. So let's get some clarifiers, see what's going on here. What is this Ace of Wands? It's fresh new beginning. Four of Pentacles. Okay. So there's a sense of freedom here. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, we have the Tower in reverse at the bottom of the deck. And we also have the Eight of Swords clarifying the Queen of Cups in the upright, in the upright position. So, as I mentioned, there's a sense of freedom that's coming with this Ace of Wands. There is a real sense of you not hanging on to something. You releasing something and having that freedom, not feeling reserved. So there's just this feeling of openness here. There's also a little bit of spontaneity here. Like you're ready to kind of be spontaneous and kind of go where your inspiration leads you and not hold yourself back in any way, which is kind of a cool energy. I can see why the Ace of Wands is so appealing, because it releases you from some kind of hold here. However, we got the Queen of Cups in reverse, clarified by the 8 of Swords in the upright. Okay. Now, I think this could potentially trigger something within the mind. Maybe even within the emotions as well. There's some kind of, so it's almost like this is a desire, but this is a block. And what's interesting is that there's a freedom here and a restriction here. So there is a sense of you wanting this thing because it provides a certain level of freedom or release from something. But there's something within you that is actually keeping you stuck. I don't think it's a situation. I think it's within the mind, within your perceptions, within the emotional body that needs to be addressed. That is what's going to give you freedom. So there's some cycles of thought or patterns of thinking that is really blocking the heart space, blocking you from opening up to something fully and being in this receivership energy. So there's an active masculine over here and a block to receiving over here. So I think there's something within you that needs to be, a foundation that is within you that needs to be torn down because it's no longer serving you. There's a thought pattern here. There is some kind of restriction within the mind or some kind of belief you have about yourself that is keeping you stuck in place, keeping you stagnant. I think it all comes back to this Queen of Cups. This Queen of Cups is feeding this 8 of Swords in a sense where there's something that is unhealed or not addressed as it pertains to how you feel and maybe the safety of some emotions here. So there's some repression that's happening, which is feeding some kind of thought pattern that is keeping you stuck in a loop, that is preventing you from moving forward. So I feel like that is something pretty significant and big that I feel needs to be looked at and torn down so that you can fully open up into this energy of release and new experiences and possibly new relationships if that fits, new projects. What's under the Tower? Page of Pentacles in reverse. So there's a new path here on the other side of the Tower. There's a new focus. There's, a new way of doing something, a new way of investing your time and your energy. I think that's this. But I think the heart and mind aren't quite ready yet. So have a think about that. I do want to get an extra card for you. And I didn't do this in the other soul paths because short on time and everything. But I really want to help you unblock this. If this is a block, how can Soul Path 1, the pendulum, move through this Queen of Cups in reverse energy and the 8 of Swords? How can they move through these restrictions? These. Okay. Could be connected to your self-worth. There's also a sense of gratitude coming through. But we have more emotions. We've got the King of Cups in the reverse here, We've got the 9 of Pentacles, and we have the 6 of Cups. Something unaddressed, something from your past is unaddressed, as it pertains to family values, core beliefs that have been formed in your childhood. So I think you have to find some kind of independence from that storyline. And that's going to be some work. That is what's going to bring the tower down. Because these structures that were built in your past, possibly built on faulty foundations or by others who needed to go through their own healing and possibly didn't. I think those are the foundations that need to be torn down. These are old foundations that were built by other people. They weren't necessarily based on your core beliefs, your thoughts about who you were, your emotions even. I think you have inherited some kind of some unhealed emotions from a parental figure here, or from a previous relationship. Definitely in the heart space, because we have the King of Cups in reverse and the 6 of Cups in reverse. So there's something here that I feel has not been addressed or healed, and it is affecting or limiting what you feel you can do in your life, what you can feel you can achieve in your life. So this is about gaining independence from that in a very grounded and balanced way, about identifying your own beliefs and your own core values. And if there are any core values of you not being good enough, you not being worthy of success, then I think those are the things that have to be looked at and addressed so that you can unbind yourself from this old energy and fully step into something new, because there's something new you want to move towards. And it's exciting you. It's really exciting you. But I think there's a bit of fear here. Maybe you're worried about jumping back into old cycles. So before moving forward on this, it's time to step back and look at these cycles in a little more detail, in a little more depth, and completely get rid of them as best we can. Now, that's not going to be a perfect process. We may have to revisit it a few times before we actually feel like we have detached from this storyline. But I really do feel there's a self-worth that is going to be a result of you doing this work. You're going to have a sense of independence from this storyline, from these emotions, from these cycles of thought that are keeping you stuck. And you're also going to see the value in who you are, the value in what you bring to the world, what you can offer. And there's also a sense of gratitude of who you are and what you are. So that's I think that's a beautiful, beautiful energy, beautiful outcome. Even though it is challenging and difficult, it's very heavy stuff, I feel, that you might have to face. But if you need assistance, definitely don't do that work alone. But according to the cards, it seems like it's going to be worth it for you. So this is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 3 and those who chose the pendulum. I do hope these insights resonated and offered some clarity for you on your path ahead. Until next time, stay curious, and I'll see you next time. And I'll see you soon.